Zenith Bank Media, in collaboration with the Bureau of Technical Matters, presents Lest We Forget, a celebration of the magical and pragmatic strides of the Chief Godswill Akpabio administration in closing the loud development gulf between the past and the present in Akwa Ibom State. Lest we forget the true story of uncommon transformation.
Within our climb, especially in the rural communities, road transportation is regarded as the most accessible, convenient, and affordable. It plays a critical role in the movement of goods and services, as well as the stimulation of total internal trade of any area. Good and motorable roads also enhance the aesthetic value of any area, reduces rural-urban migration, opens up the affected area to investment, and catapults the gross domestic product of its enclave. This aptly explains the rationale behind the appropriation of huge sums of money by various governments across the globe to building 21st century compliant roads, along with other ancillary infrastructures like bridges, flyovers, subways, pavement, culverts, road shoulders, etc. In Nigeria's 21st state, Akwa Ibom, the Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio-led administration is at home with the strategic role of these all-important development catalysts. The administration has, within 6 eventful years, magically transformed the hitherto dilapidated road network in the state to one comparable to perhaps only the Federal Capital Territory. The focused and pragmatic road construction and reconstruction drive of the Akpabio administration has seen it commit huge sums of money into building over 500 kilometers of roads in the state. Virtually every segment of the state has felt the Midas touch of the Akpabio year. Lest we forget, Akwa Ibom roads were not so rosy and pleasurable to cruise on before Governor Akpabio arrived at the scene in 2007. The woes, pitfalls and potholes of Akwa Ibom roads prior to the Akpabio administration were most pronounced in the Afarabong, Ika, Etim, Ekpo, Iwukem road. For the people living on the fringes of the strategic 56-kilometer road which traverses the 4 local government areas of Abak, Etim, Ekpo, Ika, and Okanafon, life was a living hell. For over 60 years, their agony persisted as the only road linking them to the rest of the state was not only deplorable, it was best described as a road waiting for the next fatal mishap. Any motorist who attempted a journey on the road during its dark era had to brace up and be prepared for almost anything, from rolling up their sleeves to physically push their vehicles through the impossible terrains, to taking emergency courses in auto repairs to enable them fix their vehicles, which would almost always surely break down before they arrived their destinations. The result of this ugly episode saw a journey of 10 to 15 minutes from a back town to Etim, Ekpo, for instance, becoming an agonizing and nightmarish journey of almost 3 to 4 hours. Hear the agonizing tale from those who felt it.
The place was a dead trap before now. That was about 10 years ago, let me say so. This road was as a political campaign. Anybody that is looking for a political position will use this road to campaign. When I am into the office, I will come and repair the road for you, but throughout the tenure, you will not say anything about the road. From here to Uyo, it will take almost about an hour plus to get to Uyo. But as it is now, I think within a short period of 10 minutes, you are in Uyo.
No say the matter. So I'm mad out it. Even we can bubble. To do my in doing is a token. It don't buru because of the pits. Basically, kisi de se moto se sa antu moto sa mi a sa so ibine moto ki sa so le be ku moto
no so ke se by those days afro make se ron young I feel say pon moto medi mene ki si bo ngo ki se ko no mo no wa ka ya ki te ko so me si di bo no e dan ka do Ekpo so now by say now no so ban to explain they can never check.
So ma di o tete. If me di o say wo mo say di stop tete. Then me we say di pe ke sa another so ke we sike. In fa ma di o wo say ton po ku so para wa e ton ti me. Ma di o ke wo ti me ku.
So ma ne ke di o ali o ta tete. If in seven bono me driver qui s'est craqué les pros qui cam pas au son man de pidi up aga se den tin a son na go krali cam pa so son e fin se ve le pele anya ne ke son na o ke go bro a cam pa
son ma ali o te di na gbe kereke yo ke ji ya nyi ti son ke cyclos ko le kan special
ça de son ma dio ama dio don't get them go bridge echo. Remember, I just break down a kind by before me go bridge echo. I'm a real, I'm a you state, your kid about something, but I get the fine cut.
This sordid situation reigned unabated, despite the fact that the people's tales of war, agony, and desolation were copiously documented to successive administrations. Even more appalling and annoying to them was the fact that every 4 years during the civilian era, politicians would come to their domain with Greek promises only to abandon them once they had cast their votes in their favor. In fact, the road became a political gimmick and vote enmassing bait for politicians rather than one in dire need of intervention, thus leaving the indigents to wallow in the irksome and circuitous journey of traveling to Abia State and River State first, before accessing Akwa Ibom through Ikodekbene. Lest we forget, we serve you pictorials of the road before God smiled on it through Governor Pabio. Mr. Nekanomana is the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communications and an indigene of Abak, while Obong Sebionyeka is the chairman of Ika Local Government Council. Together with Emmanuel Noideme Esquire, Honorable Commissioner for Housing and Urban Renewal and indigene of Etim, they shed more light on the road's inglorious past.
The back at Timeko Iwukem road with a spur to Ika was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for the people of the area. If you know the area well, you will come to terms with the fact that it was totally cut off the civilization called Akwa Ibom State, or Nigeria if you like. The people of the area were totally abandoned and neglected. And I understand that this happened right from the colonial, the post-colonial era, from the independence era, from the Eastern Nigeria budget. For year after year, they kept providing for this road, and it was never done. Government after government came, promised the people and deceived them severally.
Prior to his administration as a governor of the state, I think for you to come all the way from here, like you said, you have to jet up for a journey of 2 days. And it has to be, sometimes in some areas, you don't even have bike that can reach here. And that was part of the problem, part of the things that, ginger the crisis in the local government area, because where you sit down and then there is government, and then other people on television, on radio, that are feeling the dividends of democracy, and then you're on them, you are still part and parcel of the system, yet nothing is happening, and you feel neglected, and along the line you can begin to do certain things. I wouldn't want to blame the crisis on anybody.
Road is life. There can be nothing that can be meaningfully done by people without access, without any access road. You can't live any life without access road. Before you could get from Uyo to Etim, it will take you 3-4 hours, and you must be prepared. You must set out a day that you want to go to Etim. Not that something just stand up and say, I'm going to Etim. You can't just go to Etim like that. You must get prepared, work on your mind, let your body be ready to work and go to Etim from Uyo, or come to Uyo from Etim, or Ika from Etim, to Etim from Ika. It wasn't just a simple decision. It was easy for you to go to Aba, go to Port Harcourt, than to come to Uyo from Ika or from Etim. Because there was just no road.
The poor and deplorable nature of their Farobong Etimekbo Iwukem road led to colossal economic and social losses to the people. In Ranyang, Ika local government area, for instance, a thriving local market that used to have traders from as far as Abak flocking was closed down. All the small-scale enterprises closed shop as the purchasing power of the people dwindled. Social unrest became the order of the day as the idle youths found other ventures to divest their vigor and exuberance. Between 2001 and 2005, the entire Ika local government area was engulfed in a fierce communal crisis. There was total chaos and breakdown of law and order in the area as the youths went on rampage. Yet, law enforcement officers could not be drafted into the area due to the immoderable nature of the road.
The road was totally in a state of disrepair. It was even difficult for bicycle users and motorcyclists to traverse the road, not to talk about vehicles. So at a point, the motor park at Etim closed. It had closed, even and created an opportunity for insurgency there from all sorts of criminals who were fighting with themselves, and the local government was closed. The DPO of the local government was killed, if you remember. Houses burnt. The paramount ruler was sacked and pushed out of the place, apparently because security agencies had no way of going there. The people had taken the laws into their own hands, and it became a den for criminals, even from neighboring environment, who found a comfortable buffer zone for them to go in and operate unmolested. Economic activities along that stretch had collapsed totally. Filling stations had collapsed, market had closed, and nobody could go there. No taxi would go there, whether from a bank or Iwukem, nobody would go there. It was like an abandoned place, a place abandoned to their own fate.
And there is a market opposite the council that will come to Ranyang Market. It used to be an international market sometimes back. But all the best cassava, green gari, in this part of the world was gotten from it. But as a result of the bad nature of the road, the market completely is there. People are not coming from other states and other places. We were completely cut off from the entire system. And so we were just between us and ourselves, and sometimes you trek to Oba. For instance, from here to Oba is about 15 to 20 minutes drive. But because of bad roads, we have nowhere to go to. We don't go to Prague, we don't go to, so we're just between us and God here. And the whole situation as at that time was like, locking somebody into a prison, inside a prison, and doesn't know where to go to. The economic situation in Ika was down. Automatically, that was, like I said, that was what bring the violence.
The road was impassable. In fact, as I mentioned to you before, for full 20 years, we were in bondage. You know, in fact, even our women, our businessmen, you know, the business was not going on. Because, like our food stuff, to carry it to our bank and other places like that to sell, it was impossible.
In fact, there was nothing here like economics.
Nothing, I guess can move. The moon for my do it yet. Mono boy.
A hasty reformer who does not remember the past will find himself condemned to repeat it. These are the wise words of a great scholar, John Bacham. When God's will was done in Akwa Ibom in 2007 and he emerged governor, Chief Dr. Godswill Oborokpabio CON was certainly at home with the ugly past of the state and had resolved to change it. Little wonder, within just 5 years, the entire landscape has been transformed with a crystal clear difference between the past and the present. As the uncommon transformation train cruises on and a new Akwa Ibom keeps emerging, it behoves us to place the past side by side the present, lest we forget. Welcome to Lest We Forget, a confluence of the past and the present for the sake of the future. Lest we forget the true story of uncommon transformation.
During the 2007 governorship electioneering, the sorry state of the road was also the lot of the incumbent state chief executive. The then governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, after campaigning in the area, had no road to access the rest of the state. Determined not to use the circuitous Abia State road, he spent 6 hours of rigmarole in the area but could not find a way past the swamps and rivers that confronted his entourage. Out of frustration, he had to beat a retreat to the Abia State route to access the state. Lest we forget, Chief Godswill Akpabio recounts his ordeal on the road and elucidates on why the Afarabong Iwukem road had to be the first road contract he signed as governor.
When I was campaigning, I went on campaign to Etim, and the people warned me that I should not mention anything about Etim road, that they had been deceived. Government by government had deceived them. The military will come and make promises that they will do the road. They never did. Civilian administrations will come. They never did. Their Belly Bridge collapsed as far back as 1968. They were cut off from Akwa Ibom State. They have to travel to Obingwa local government and cross into Aba before they enter Ikorek in Akwa Ibom to go to any part of the state. And so I went there and I went through a lot of difficulties. I finished the campaign about 5-6 in the evening. By 1 a.m. I was still trying to find my way out of the area. You enter here, you end up in the river. You enter here, you end up in the swamp. Because I did not want to go through Abia State. So sadly, I finally had to go through Abia State to be able to access Akwa Ibom. And I was determined. I said, no, we cannot expose these people to this level of suffering. At the time, criminals took over Ika local government for over 3 years, between 2001, I think between 2001 and 2004. Criminals took over the whole of that area. I think the situation was brought to an end by 2005. In fact, there was a divisional police officer who was slaughtered in Ika during that crisis. And his body parts were strewn all over the area. And there was no way, no road for reinforcement to go and help the policemen there. They were overpowered. And so everything closed down. Schools closed down. The police station closed down. And the people were left at the mercy of criminals. So when I went to that area, I said, how could the people be so neglected? I don't want to use the word marginalized. Whatever happened, I felt that no, that if I'm elected governor of the state, I will not sign a single contract unless that Etim Ekpo road was involved. And people, they have dignitaries from that area. In fact, the current head of the African Church worldwide is from there, Prelate Odofia. Then they celebrated icon and journalist Ekpo is also from there. They even had the Deputy Inspector General of Police from there. They've had very eminent sons, but unfortunately, the area was what you saw. So I decided that I would not do anything in this state in terms of any infrastructure in this state unless that road was on the list. And so that was the first contract that I signed in the state. And we finished 56 kilometers complete with a bridge and invited President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to commission it. And he saw the joy on the faces of the people. So they had a joke in the state. They would say in primary schools they were teaching children as bright as the star, and then they say as white as snow, as bad as Etim Ekpo road. That was the joke in the state. So even children were reciting it in primary schools, as white as snow, as bright as the star, and as bad as, then somebody would add Etim Ekpo road. That was the story.
Other members of the governor's campaign team in 2007 corroborate the state chief executive's ordeal, which moved the #1 citizen of the state to tears.
The day the governor came to do campaign in 2007, when we were about to go back, we were lost. I was also in the team. We were lost in the bush, but we couldn't find our way out. We were trying to maneuver ourselves through a road to Ugrafon, from Ugrafon to Olwan, and then get into Ikoro Road and then come to back. But it wasn't, all of us got lost in the bush. So it was such a cut off, was a complete cut off.
Chief Gosh Lekwabi, when he came here, on the first time he stepped his foot into this place, on the campaign mission, shed so much tears and said that if God makes him to be a governor, the first road he is going to do in this state be about Etim Ekpo road. And that was the first road that Chief Gosh Lekwabi did.
But how did the people react when the promise to fix the road was first made?
We told him that the people told him that he should not talk about the road. If it's vote, we are going to vote for it. Because we have seen a governor who came for 3 times before him. 3 good times, physically in person, and promised us was going to do that road. For 8 years, the road was not done. So everybody was tired of seeing somebody using the road as a major campaign issue when it comes. So we told the governor, you are our brother, whether you will do the road for us or not, we are going to vote for you. So why not leave the road? So the man wept. He wept. He cried physically. He shed tears before he mounted the post. He shed tears because he saw this level of suffering of the people. Incidentally, he came to Ika. So he passed through hell before he got to Ekpo. So when we told him forget about the road, he knew what we were feeling. He felt with us and he couldn't hold back himself. He shed tears. So, but when he managed to climb the podium, he said, if I will ever become a governor in Akwa State, and I will ever have to award any contract, the first contract I will ever award, or one of the first contracts I will award, will be this one. My brother, he did exactly that.
I remember that they did say that, sir, you can campaign and go, but don't promise us this road. And he said to them, no, my government will be different. He said to them that his government will be a promise-keeping government, and that he will run the government as a promise keeper. And this he has made good. He has redeemed himself, he has acquitted himself in totality. He has totally acquitted himself here because he constructed that road which he promised the people and gave to them. So the people who were abandoned have now been reintegrated into the conversation called Akwa Ibom State and the larger discussion called Nigeria. So today we are happy as a people. Those local government areas in that flank are today enjoying the benefit of good governance. They're enjoying the dividend of democracy. They are true beneficiaries of the uncommon transformation that His Excellency unleashed on Akwa Ibom State in the last 6 years.
Well, we had to be there. But we know some past governors used to come and promise like that, but they didn't work at it. Yes. But this time around, He came during the campaign, he promised us, and then we supported him. So he won the election. And in fact, when he won the election, I happened to see him immediately after the election. He told me that as far as Ekpo is concerned, that people will be surprised.
He came here after the election campaign somewhere at Ekpo. And indeed, he did it.
It was therefore a thing of great relief when in early 2008, Setraco Nigeria Limited moved its equipment into the road site. The company poured its team of professionals on the once death trap of the road, and after 24 months of adherence to the best of engineering practices in road building, a 56-kilometer road with a sporty car local government area, complete with all the trappings of a 21st century compliant road, now stands in the area.
He made good his promise by awarding that contract 56 kilometers to Setraco with a bridge to go with it and a sport acre. And today the road is a delight. It's a beautiful delight with a nice macadamized, well-constructed road with proper shoulders and a beautiful bridge that runs through those 3 local government areas of Abak, Etim, all the way to Iwukem, and then the sport acre. And today economic activities have suddenly resurfaced. Filling stations are back, markets are back, taxis are now running, people are happy. It has become a major connection between Akwa Ibom and Rivers State.
Emmanuel Noidem Esquire, Mr. Nia Kanomana, Honorable Savior Nyekere, hear heaped praises on the governor for delivering them from their long years of suffering and neglect.
When the governor came visiting, it was like God has come. The road is like it's a true intervention of the hand of God. That's what people see. And that's why you can't come to a drink and talk about gospel about it. You can't. You can't. No, they can't. Nobody. You can't come there and say, no, this God's way. You cannot, before you go, you'll be very lucky to go with your head in place. So that is the level of debt our people owe the government. That's the level of debt we owe God through the government.
Go to the road. Go to the street, talk to the people on the road, and you will see the excitement. You will see the happiness. You see the joy that they exude. You will see that they are happy. They are connected to government. They are happy that His Excellency Governor Godswill Akpabio came on board and provided light in the midst of darkness. He suddenly got put out of the doldrums and put them back to civilization. So they can only be grateful. And I think they have variously expressed them. And they will continue to express them because this is what they never saw.
I want to thank him. That's why when you see us, sitting down to say, "Want to be a senator?" we know what we are talking about. A lot of people might not know. People that were born after 2008, you will not understand. Our own children now will not understand. But people that were born before that time will understand why we say that God will have you, if given the opportunity. If we were kind of legislative arrangement, we would ask him to continue to be the governor of Akwa Ibom State. So he's done us proud, he's done us well, and we keep on thanking him, and we'll always appreciate him. For instance, there is an aged woman here. It should be about close to 100 years. And I think these are people who have seen it all, have seen life. And when this road was completed, the woman called me one day. I visited the man. She said, "My son," he said, "Are you sure that the person that is constructing this road is a human being?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Please, when you see him, thank him for me. Then God will bless him."
That is why each time I go to Ekpo, I'm always very happy. Because, unlike before, you cannot enter the road. But now, if I leave this place now, that I'm going to my village in Ekpo, it's a question of 15 minutes.
To the people residing in the area, Governor Akpabio is God sent.
I was a Canicarabo, and you are saying, Nanteba second on his oil, I quite remember above Fenititi, but came friend, and yet in taking and one of us with not so quite.
By saying, I know some about Twister and they can never cheat. I was not the best lady because my sister
Come Chief Augustine because I know there was so fun. I saw one day asking the cool who saw you on there at the number was in Augustine.
I say God will bless the party, bless Akwa Ibom in particular, because I enjoy the road. My business is moving.
No, pay the same message. They go on Ekpo. Pay the camera good. About I join now, about Chief Gospel. He has done very well.
Given its breathtaking ambience and masterful delivery, the Ekpo Iwukem Road, with its unique pre-asphalting dressing, is poised to run the whole hope of 25 years expected of a qualitative road within the mangrove belt. As motorists cruise through the road, maneuvering through its well-paved lanes and cruising on the exquisitely finished bridge, it may be possible for them to forget that it was not so pleasurable to ride on it before Governor Godswill Akpabio intervened.
There was a day I went to Etim and I was, you know, I was on that bridge. Me and just my driver and my peer. I said, I just hope one day people will not forget that this road wasn't like this. That I just hope one day people of this area will not forget that this road wasn't like this.
With such masterful delivery of the 21st century compliant road, it was only proper and fitting that the #1 citizen of the country, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, inaugurate it. And on one of his numerous visits to the land of promise, Mr. President did just that. Some high-profile indigents of the area who were part of the history-making inauguration team relived the historic moment.
Then the day it was to be commissioned, everybody was on the road. Men and women, youth and children, everybody was on that road. From morning till that time the president came. And even after the president came, they were still there. Because it was a captivity turnaround. It was a captivity of the people who were totally cut off. Life there became unbearable. Nobody knew whether we were in Abia State or whether we were still in Akwa State. It was a difficult moment for the people for that number of years.
Endless eulogists have continued to trail the dreamer-in-chief on his promise-keeping delivery of the road, which also serves as the fastest gateway into the state from other parts of the South and Southeast region.
It has become a major connection between Akwa Ibom and Rivers State, because those who are now going to Port Harcourt through that road now pass through that road through Ubehe and then Port Harcourt in about an hour. And you can see the economic effect of the construction of the Park Etim Iwukem Ika road for the people of the area, the people of Akwa Ibom State, and other Nigerians who are using that road on a daily basis.
Governor Godswill Akpabio has once again demonstrated the copious dose of human compassion which has become the hallmark of his 7-star administration. Lest we forget, it was after the governor visited the area during the 2007 electioneering and felt the agony of the people firsthand that he not only wept openly for them, but made a promise to make the road the first he was to construct if he was elected governor. And when God smiled on him and he was elected, he kept his promise by making the Afarobong Etim Iwukem Road the first of the many road contracts he ever signed and executed. With this milestone, the state's chief executive has proved to even die-hard critics and the most incredulous of cynics that he feels the pulse of the masses. He has turned the over 50 years sorrow of the people into joy and has forever emblazoned his name in their hearts and minds. By linking the once forgotten area to the rest of the state and country, the Honorary Fellow of the Nigeria Society of Engineers has proved to all that government can indeed work. Indeed, the charge by the deceased American president and statesman Thomas Jefferson that if you want to be remembered, you either do things worth writing or write things worth remembering has been overtly expressed in the life of Governor Akpabio, as he has indeed done so many things worth writing about. He has done an armada of projects that has made him the toast of paint pushers and tube manners in the country and beyond, and has also written his name in gold with his stellar performance as governor generally. Lest we forget, the uncommon transformation that is our lot today, as manifested in the Etim Iwukem Road, is made possible by the Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio-led administration. This can only be God's will for the people of Akwa Ibom State. To him we give all the glory.
Zenith Bank Media, in collaboration with the Bureau of Technical Matters, presents Lest We Forget, a celebration of the magical and pragmatic strides of the Chief Godswill Akpabio administration in closing the loud development gulf between the past and the present in Akwa Ibom State. Lest we forget the true story of uncommon transformation.